Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And here's our spoiler review for Wonder Woman 1984.
Wonder Woman!
Before we dive into our review, we do want to let you know that this is a spoiler review, which means that we will be talking about various spoiler points of the movie. So if you have not watched Wonder Woman 1984 yet, this video you're probably not going to want to watch unless you don't mind getting various plot points spoiled for you, but we wanted to put that out there in case you clicked on this and you're interested in watching Wonder Woman. You haven't done so, watch the movie first and then come back to our video so you can watch this review, hear all the spoilers, and join in the discussion in the comment section below. And with that, let's go ahead and kick off this review by talking about Wonder Woman 1984. This is a sequel to, of course, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. And you guys know, that's my girl, Wonder Woman. I think I was ready for this movie after the second one, after the first one credits rolled. I was like, I am ready.
I want the next one already.
I'm ready for the next one.
Right now. And we had to wait like an extra year to see it.
Yeah, because of, the global pandemic, this movie was delayed and delayed and delayed, and now it's not in theaters, and now it's only on HBO Max, which is not my preferred way of watching a big blockbuster tentpole movie such as Wonder Woman 1984, because for a DC superhero movie.
Yeah, exactly.
With Wonder Woman, there's action.
You want to see that on the big screen.
Yeah, you don't want to see it in a...
You want to see the fight scenes. You want to see her flying through lightning. You want to see
that
all
lightning
on the big screen, and we never got a chance to be able to do that.
I imagine seeing it in the theater would have been a whole different experience on a different level. Unfortunately, theaters are not open near us, and we opted for the only option we had, which was to watch it on our TV via VOD and all that stuff. So we're glad that it is at least available on HBO Max for all the subscribers, and it's available for a whole month, so you can watch it over and over and over again as much as your heart's content. With this movie, as you know, directed by Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot returns, Chris Pine returns, and we have Kristen, Wiig, and Pedro Pascal also adding to the awesome cast of this movie.
That was actually something that did get me really excited too, was because I love this cast. I mean, I love Chris Pine, I love Gal Gadot, and everyone else in this movie. It just got me excited. I was like, I can't wait to see where they're going to be taking these characters.
Yeah, and as you know, Pedro Pascal plays Max Lord, and we have Kristen Wiig playing Cheetah. Technically, she is Barbara Ann Minerva first, and then she is Cheetah. So I was really excited. Dustin actually bought me the Rebirth comic, so I was reading that before they announced Cheetah, and when they did announce that Cheetah was going to be in this film, I was like, I need to read the comics again. So it's really, really exciting, and of course, one of the huge points of this movie is not just Cheetah, but is they're bringing Steve Trevor back. And I'm just like, well, how? Because he died, and that was also the last time we saw him was World War I.
During the battle. The battle in World War
years
I.
ago.
So yeah, 66 years.
So it was going to be really interesting to be like, well,
they bring back zombies. He's back. He's like,
what if
Diana?
She's like, punching, no thanks. No, okay, the ship sailed on that. But no, she, as we all saw in the trailer, she has Steve back in her life again, which before I saw this movie, I'm like, how are they doing this? Now that we've seen the movie, we know that Steve is back, all because Diana made a wish on the Dreamstone, asking that she would be reunited with her long-lost love. And it's I knew it going into it, too, and I was like, there's no way Steve is able to stay. That heartbreak was gonna hurt just as much, probably worse the second time around, but... all that aside, let's focus on what we loved about the film, and then we kind of and then with that we can kind of talk about details of the plots.
Yes. Right off the bat with the Dreamstone, I actually kind of liked the idea behind the Dreamstone. It's kind of like a monkey's paw. Yeah. Is that whatever you wish for, you actually do have to give something up.
But what is it? You don't know until you make that wish. And that makes it very tempting and very dangerous.
But we knew that even like when we first saw the very first trailer, that Steve was going to come back something was going to happen, and then Diana was going to have to let him go again. And the fact that we were going to, yes, we were anticipating this moment to where we were like, no, poor Diana having to do this again and to relive all of that pain 66 years later. But the dynamic between Steve and Diana were excellent. It was probably some of my favorite moments in this movie. It really helped humanize Diana, not just being this incredible warrior, Wonder Woman
yes.
kind of thing that's also now incredibly intelligent with doing her job in archaeology. And it's now showing this, she got to have her boyfriend back in a sense.
Yeah, she got to live and she got to have, a life with him, even if it was a bit short.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it was interesting that it wasn't just poof, Steve out of nowhere. It was Steve in another man's body.
Mm-hmm.
And for a hot second, when I was watching it, I did wonder, I was like, well, where did the man go? Where did the actual guy go? Is he kind of like, is the conscious in the kind of like a Get Out thing where like his conscious was in the back? I mean, we'll never know and I know that's not the whole point of the movie, but just because I'm, have a kind of a wild imagination, I thought about it for a split second when I was watching the movie. I was like, what about the original guy? Is he going to remember all of it? Well, he remembered Diana at the end of all this. And as we know, he doesn't really remember her.
Yeah, I think he kind of like
but he did
blacked
remember
out.
the clothes. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about Wonder Woman 1984. What I did love is, of course, the return of Wonder Woman on the big screen or in your home. But this time it's got a whole 80s flair, and they didn't go light on that. They
did not.
80s from beginning to end. I like that you stick strong. This is the theme you're gonna pick. The advertisement and marketing was everything was 80s, and they stuck with it, from the way she styled her hair, obviously, to even the way it was filmed, the way it was colored and everything.
Yes, very bright, vibrant colors.
I kind of didn't mind it, honestly.
No, it really did kind of seem like they were trying to do a tribute to Linda Carter.
Tribute to Linda Carter, a little bit of that like 1978 Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was somewhere there in the background. It really wanted to kind of pay tribute to its roots. So yeah, that 80s vibe really had a heavy hand in the kind of like the theming and the colorization of this movie.
One of the other things we loved about this movie was seeing young Diana back at Themyscira. Well, not back at, but you guys know what I mean.
Just
in
to
Themyscira,
go back to Themyscira.
Exactly that. And seeing her participating in the Amazon games, that was epic. I love that's how the film started off. I was like, yes, we're back, where this is like the origin and how, and kind of driving that message home. And of course, to see Robin Wright kind of back.
Yes.
I was like, oh, Auntie Opie, she's back for just a little bit. It's great.
And I love the fact that the way that they filmed this really made me believe that this little girl could beat all of these other Amazons. The way that they had that cool shots of boom, boom, just determination on her face, and she's jumping on all these poles, and she's doing all these flips and spins and riding the horse and doing all these shots. You're sitting there going like, it looks like the kid really did all of this.
Well, I'm sure they trained her and they had her do as much as I think they were able to let her do as much as possible safely, and then everything else was probably either a CGI or a stunt double. Most likely a stunt double, because it looked pretty real to me. Another thing I really liked about this film, aside from seeing Steve and Diana kind of, experience everything together, but this time we flip-flopped and we have Diana teaching Steve, like, this is how much time has passed, you got to catch up, this is art, that's just a trash can, this is the fashion, this is not everybody parachutes just because you wear a pair of parachute pants. Like, little jokes like that I thought was so fun and endearing. I also enjoyed seeing Diana, where she is, in the first film, she was so new to a man's world, right?
Yeah.
She was like, oh my gosh, a baby, oh my gosh, an ice cream cone. And in this one, she's been living, and she's now at the Smithsonian. So she's got a little bit more of she's not really interested in forming a relationship with really anybody right now.
Yeah.
She's still really not over Steve, which I can get, because there was no closure. He sacrificed himself to save the world, so she can go save the world. And she longs for that, but just kind of see the way she's living now and how much she's grown from then to now is really interesting. And I know that they've greenlit Wonder Woman 3, so it's going to see, depending on what time frame they land for number 3, if they stay with like the present time, how much further Diana and Wonder Woman have grown both in power and in like her personality and her knowledge and everything. Like that's going to be really interesting to see. But I loved seeing Kristen Wiig as Barbara Ann and as Cheetah. I thought she nailed it.
She did an excellent. She has done very many of those awkward type characters before.
As comedians.
I mean, from what was it called? From Bridesmaids, where she has those awkward moments, and she just plays those characters exceptionally well. Very heartwarming, very kind and generous people, but are just so socially awkward.
Yeah.
And it was
kind of ignored by everybody, which was painful to watch because you're just like, oh, she just wants to like be a part of things.
Mm-hmm. And of course, when she meets Diana, she's just like, you're amazing. You are this incredibly beautiful, powerful, smart, and just intelligent person. I want to be exactly like you. Oh, hi, Magic Stone. I want to be just like Diana. And sure enough, that's what happens. And I love the conflict that they really did bring with this. When she wishes to be like Diana, and she starts to realize that she has these powers, that she has these abilities, and she's like, how much would you put up with to keep that kind of power? What would it take for you to actually be willing to give that power back? Is something that they did explore pretty well, I think.
Especially with Cheetah, I think. I really felt that refusal to give it up, especially in the third act where she was like, Barbara Ann, you have to renounce your wish. She's like, no, I finally belong. People finally see me. Mm-hmm. Like, I get that. And she still, at the end of it all, gave it up. And I think that's huge I think for Cheetah, but that is also something I kind of didn't love because I wanted the face-off and kind of that conflict between Wonder Woman and Cheetah to kind of bleed into future films. Just because I liked seeing the two of them interact and they have this long like relationship, and that's kind of what makes the betrayal and the conflict greater is because they were such good friends at one point. And that's one of the things that this movie I felt like didn't play up for me. They got to it and they started to play up that like nice friendship between Barbara Ann and Diana, how they both, enjoy each other's company. They have a lot to talk about. They understand each other. And I love that, but I didn't feel that it have enough time, the friendship didn't have enough time to marinate to have it be so great so that when she does show up at the White House and she was like, no, Max Lord, you get out because I'm not letting her have you. I'm not letting this go. Like, I wanted it to have more impact, and I feel that the friendship didn't really fully blossom, that it didn't have that exact impact that I wanted it to have.
True. To where you could have seen that there is this struggle in Barbara. Power or my only friend.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And I wish they would have, I wish there would have shown a little bit more of a struggle of Barbara actually weighing these two to where it's very evenly balanced to a point, but the power just wins out by that much.
Yes.
And it's just tearing Barbara apart, which will then kind of push her more into that, you know what, if I am just having to get rid of everything for this power, then why not just go all in?
Yeah.
Just be like, you know what, just screw it. Turn me into this abomination of a creature, but I want this power. Yes. I want these abilities, and I'm willing to sacrifice even my friends to get it.
And like what the life as I knew it, to have it to stay. I really would have wished they would have gone with that, but the overall message was kind of in a sense, be careful what you wish for, because kind of like you said, the dreamstone giveth and the dreamstone taketh away.
Yeah.
And boy, did it take away, because for every wish that everybody gave to the dreamstone and to Max Lord, the more of the society and the world fell into chaos. And even Diana had to experience that. And I love that humanity that showed that she was like, I am not giving it up. There's another way. There's always another way. I'm going to find it, because she is finally so happy to have Steve back and to finally be with him again. And he had to sit there and tell her, I'm not really here. I actually did die. I'm actually not back. Like I am, but I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. This isn't my body.
You've got to do this. And it's kind of a repeat, oh God, it hurts so much to say it, of the first film where he said to her, and she couldn't hear what he was saying in the first movie because the bomb had gone off.
Yeah.
And so her ears were ringing. And it hurts worse this time around. Like, I loved the moment and I hated it because I was sitting there with tears in my eyes and I was like, no. And he had to say, you got to renounce your wish. You got to go. Just like kind of the first time, like, but it was reversed where she had to go. And the first time he was like, well, I got to go and do this.
Yeah.
So you can do this. But it's essentially the same where they had to let each other go so they can save the world. And just when she walks away from him and just runs down the street, I'm tearing up thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Gal Gadot, I feel like, as Wonder Woman, because she's not only played Wonder Woman in the first movie, right? She's played in BVS, she's played in Justice League, and then now I guess if you count the Snyder Cut, and also in this movie. So she's been Wonder Woman for a while. So if anybody knows the Diana Prince and Wonder Woman's motivation,
she
it
does
would
an
be
amazing
her.
job on it.
But I feel like just her emotions and everything, she's really grown as an actress. And just the pain on her face as she's running down the street to just, let me just get away from this situation from Steve as quickly as I can because it hurts. And if I don't make myself keep running, I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to let this world fall into chaos because I want him.
Yeah.
Like, you saw it in just that few seconds of her running. Like, you read it all. And I was like, wow, that's really, really powerful. To her finally doing that whip, and she catches the cloud and she learns how to fly. We get an invisible jet. I was like, okay, we're hitting all the Wonder Woman tropes. Yes. Use the lasso, fly an invisible jet. Why not?
I was a little confused on that invisible jet thing too. I was like, wait, how did she get in? How exactly did she...
Amazonian science there.
Yeah, a little Amazonian twinkle, like...
Yeah, I didn't love that they just it felt like a little shoehorned in, but then also the geeks, so there's two parts of me. The logical side of me, I was like, how are they going to explain, because they never talked about it again. You didn't see her in it again in a post-credit or whatever. She just, like, it was like a one-off. They were in the plane with Steve. She did this so they can, get away undetected.
Yeah.
But then they never kind of, like, talked about it again. Like, I guess it's established so they can bring it back in the third movie. So she can have her invisible jet. So I guess that's kind of... But it felt like it was kind of shoehorned in. It was kind of like, wait, you've had this thing and you made a coffee cup disappear, and now you're going to just go from... We're just going to dive off the deep end. We're going to go graduate from coffee cup to plane.
Yeah. And that's something that I did find that happened a lot in this movie. There were some things that were placed in it just to actually to be able to move the story forward. And there were a lot of plot holes that did kind of bother me. And they kind of covered it up with just adding in a lot of cheesiness to it.
80s.
The 80s cheese, they tried to cover it up with that. And I personally think there was a lot of moments from the mall fight that I'm just kind of like, wait a second, why would they be behaving like this? Even though there are some cool action scenes in that mall fight, I'm still kind of like, the way that it was choreographed and the way it was set up was very 80s action.
It was more Linda Carter than it was like Wonder Woman 1, I would say. Like Wonder Woman 1, war film, so she was like, she's there in the trenches, she's in the dirt, she's taking on the bullets. And in this one, it was more graceful, more... I'm not saying that the first one she wasn't graceful at all, she really, really is. But this one had more of an aerialist, dancer-esque feel to that 80s, to the mall fight scene. I didn't really love it either. I was expecting, and I think sometimes with Wonder Woman, that's a property that I really overhype myself with, because I love Wonder Woman, the character, so much that I definitely, that was like a thing that I did going in. I overhyped myself. So when I watched the mall scene, it was just okay. It's always cool to see Wonder Woman in action, but I felt like some of the scenes, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, like some of the scenes that she had in Justice League was like cooler than this one.
Yeah, I think the big problem is that
action speaking from action, not like the acting.
For all of the action scenes in Wonder Woman 84 is the fact that in the first movie, and in all of the other action scenes that Wonder Woman has had in the other movies, there was this perfect balance of power and grace every time that she fought. And you saw both in abundance. In 84, however, they kind of just lost the power, and it turned into this gracefulness that Wonder Woman had, which isn't bad, but what Wonder Woman is that power and grace mixed together. And you get these incredibly awesome, powerful fight scenes where, like in Wonder Woman, in the first one, when she goes across the trenches, when she's in that building and she's throwing her shield and she's doing that awesome slide that has that 300
and
effect.
everything,
and that is that power and grace. But with this one, it was just pretty.
It was a little bit prettier. It was a little bit more like Linda Carter, and I don't know if that was the intent. Then they nailed the intent for sure. I would say like the third one with Cheetah definitely had that badassery that I was looking for. You know, when Cheetah was just going to town on that golden armor, and she was like, "I don't need this," and she shrugs it off. I was like, "Yes, Wonder Woman." But again, I would have liked it to live a little bit longer. I would have liked to see a little bit more in both that one, the tanker scene, and the mall scene as well. And I just didn't feel like for the mall scene, it kind of just felt really out of place for me. It was just like to introduce her, you know, like she's still doing what she's done. She's still saving, keeping peace and justice, and I don't know, but it felt, and there's a lot of the parts, while I enjoy watching Wonder Woman literally any time, day of the week, I felt like the pacing for this was a bit messy. I didn't understand, like I felt 2.5 hours felt too long, while at the same time it left me wanting more from various characters, such as the Wonder Woman and Cheetah relationship. Like how do you not give me the full thing in 2.5 hours? And I also felt like a lot of the screen time went to Max Lord as opposed to Wonder Woman. And I don't know if that's just me. And I look, we were all rooting for Pedro Pascal. We love him as Mando. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Another thing I do like about Max Lord is that he's not just like a Ares, like I have the power, I have superpowers, and he's on par with Wonder Woman. He is, and that's what, like, some of the best villains is just a simple man. A simple man with a wish and a desire, and he got that, and he took that, and he like blew it up, and where it wasn't just hurting the society, it was hurting him physically.
Also, you could tell that Pedro Pascal was having a lot of fun with this character. You could see that he was enjoying hamming it up and just playing this over-the-top character.
He was committed.
He was committed, and I think he also played the character well. I found the character itself, not Pedro Pascal's performance, to kind of come off as like a discount Nathan Fillion a little bit.
What?
To where if someone wanted to kind of write Max Lord, and they're like, you know, I kind of just saw Castle, and I kind of want to make him kind of this, hey, kind of guy. Hey, remember, hi, I'm actor Troy McClure, kind of thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
So even though Pedro Pascal did a great job on playing this character, and the tender moments that he had with his son, I thought he played very, very well. And kind of have also like the dad cliche a little bit of, I'm going to make you proud of me, son. Because I want to be the best. I want to be the best for my son. But then they kind of lose track of that real thing of being with your son, kind of a thing. And like, don't worry, daddy, you've always been my hero, kind of a thing. And then it's that, I did all of this and I destroyed all of these things and I lost track of what was really important.
One of the things that felt to me about Max Lord was that I felt like, and I kind of get the origin of, like, you know, he's like also like a TV personality, so that's why they established that in the beginning, like the way he had to say hello to people. It was like, recognize me now, and then you kind of underneath that mask, you don't want you kind of see on the flip side the struggle of him being in debt and not being successful, and like the empty office and things like that. And no wonder he wants the Dreamstone so he can become maybe the dad that he thinks his kid wants to have. But I feel like as the character and personality of Max Lord in comparison to the rest of the movie, I felt like Max Lord was kind of in his own movie and everybody else was in Wonder Woman 1984. Like it didn't really like blend well for me, and it kind of stuck out every time he was on screen. Not to say that like it was a bad decision. It was just something that stood out to me as a viewer, that when you know we had Max Lord on screen, I was like, until the very end, until the third act, where I was like, okay, we're in the same movie now. Like I get it, especially when Diana was trying to stop him, and then she broadcast her message about you are good enough, renounce your wish, and this and that.
They also didn't do a very good job on kind of developing his backstory. Kind of like, okay, we get the main point of, you know, he wanted to prove himself. He had this rough life, his rough childhood, and he's like, no, I'm going to be better. but then completely just glanced over the part of how the heck does he know about the Dreamstone? How is it that that he learned to study it? Where does he actually first come across his, what does this first come across his knowledge kind of thing, where even Diana didn't really know what it was when she saw it, but he knew immediately what it was. And they kind of oh, okay, he's been researching
yes.
But like, how? Why? Where did he even hear about this thing? How does he even believe this story? So I was a little curious on where that kind of came from, and they just kind of completely skipped over it.
Overall, I thought this movie was fun to watch. I did feel that the 2.5 hours dragged on a bit for me. I felt the pacing was messy, and it could have been smoother. I would have loved to see more development of their friendship between Diana and Barbara. And that would have made the final showdown just even more epic. I really would have loved that. And my rating for this movie, if this movie had come out in theater, would be matinee it.
There's a lot of things that I actually liked about this movie. I really liked the relationship between Steve and Diana,
Yes.
Diana and Barbara, and I liked, there was just a lot of good moments between those three characters. There's a lot of choices that they decided to make in this movie that I did not like. I did not like the over-accentuated 80s cheese that they kind of added to some of these action scenes, to some of these moments. They had all the guys like, hey, baby. And there were some plot holes that really kind of got on my nerves in the pacing and stuff. But overall, there's still a lot of enjoyable moments. It's Wonder Woman. And it's mainly the time with, what is it called? Sequels, is that you just want to spend time with these characters again. And I still think it's a good movie to watch. I'm going to give it a stream it or rent it.
Well, you guys, that's it for this spoiler review. Please comment your thoughts on the movie and your experience while watching the movie in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.